Hi guys, Seki here. Today, as I was exercising, there's a tennis court where I exercise, right? And it's a common use. And there was a class that's going on there. There was a coach, and there was a girl who is learning to return a serve, or at least to keep the game going, right? And as I passed the tennis court, I kept hearing the coach talk to the girl and tell her to keep the eye on the ball, know what you're going to do when you hit. And that got me thinking. I was looking into the world of communication. That situation kind of reminded me of what Stephen R. Covey wrote in his book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of it says, people listen with the intent to reply rather than understand. When I heard, when I looked at the whole situation and I saw what the coach was telling the girl to do, was it because the girl was simply hitting the ball just for the sake of hitting the ball to the next court? There's no aim, there's no intent to try and win the game. So, in that sense, I also look into how people today actually listen with the intent to reply, which happens quite often in some of my past experiences as a corporate worker, as well as, in fact, even when we are just talking like a normal, in a normal case, when you're actually talking to one another, are you replying for the sake of the reply, or are you trying to understand what the other person is trying to uh, tell you? Because there are a few things going on. If you listen with the intent to reply, you're just trying to survive the game, and that's not very strategic. But if we listen with the intent to understand, you're trying to realize, why did this person ask you this question, or why did this person make this statement in the first place? Because there's always a deeper, you need to dive deeper before you can actually claim to understand why this person made this statement in the first place. And that got me thinking, are we in our daily lives answering our bosses or our superiors just for the sake of giving an answer to survive just an extra session? But what happens then? What is your action to rectify the issue if there was an issue in the first place? We need to look into that. We need to answer with more intention to try and fix problems rather than just saving your own skin at that particular moment. I think this is something that is very lacking in today's world, and hopefully, this is something that we can put a little bit more thought before we reply without any aim. So think, think before you answer. No one's pointing a gun at you and say that you have to give me an answer within the first 3 seconds, right? You don't reply because you think you need to reply. In fact, when you take a moment to pause and to think a little bit deeper, there's a lot more that you can offer when you reply with the intent to try and fix a problem. I hope that helps. Think about it.